Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Age Interrupted podcast. I'm your host, Jill White, functional pharmacist and certified personal trainer. And I help women defy aging by learning to put on muscle by lifting weights and following a healthful and balanced nutrition plan for life. And it is something you do for the rest of your life, which can feel overwhelming at first. But what keeps muscle is what makes muscle. So what I propose and what I work with my clients on is a lifestyle. And you are in for a treat today. We are going to be talking about M in my frameworks system. So in case you're just joining and you haven't heard the rest of it so far, F in frameworks. F is for fasting with food. R is recovery. A is attitude. And today we are on M, like I said, which is probably my favorite. That is muscle. So I will be honest with you, as I really always am. It's a little bit of a hard episode for me in a way because I'm coming to you with a little bit of a back injury, a little bit of a back tweak. So I'm talking about muscle. I'm going to be all excited about going to the gym and training, but I can't. I'm in the middle of about a week off of the gym. I haven't worked out in a couple of days and I'm starting to miss it. And so if you happen to have a back injury, just know that I program my clients from personal experience. I've struggled for over a decade with some lower back L3 to L5 issues. My discs just like to do whatever they want to do. And so today I'm just being cautious and resting myself. So that made me also think about a story that I remind myself of this story a lot, and I really would like to share it with you. I'll give you the shortened version of it here today. But in 2013, so I guess that's about a decade ago, my dad was really sick. We didn't really know what was wrong with him yet, but we did know. They thought it was cancer, couldn't figure out what kind of cancer it was, had run tests, insurance. Surprise, insurance was causing all kinds of roadblocks and problems to get the testing done that we needed to find out what was wrong. But one day I had went over to his house and I just saw how bad he had gotten, how weak he was, how he could barely walk around the house without a walker. This is my dad, my hero, right? Like it was very hard to see him like this. And I started looking at his paperwork from his oncologist, and I was flipping through it, looking at all of these future appointments set for like 6 months, 8 months down the road. And I'm like, this is really great, but they don't even know what's wrong with you. And what if you're not even here for this? And it was that day that he let me take him to the emergency room at our local university hospital. And I can remember him laying there in the ER bed, and it was actually Labor Day weekend. So a very crazy time in the ER. And so I can just remember sitting next to him at the bedside, and a nurse would come in and go out and come in and go out. And one time she came in, she's like, "Oh, I'm just so tired. I'm running around just this hospital and trying to get all the patients taken care of." And he just looked at her and he said, "I wish I could run around. I'll trade you." And that moment is etched in my mind forever. Remembering that while we have our health, it is our duty, A, to take care of it, and B, to not take it for granted. If you can move your arms, move your arms. If you can move your legs, move your legs. If you can go to the gym, if you can walk around your neighborhood, if you can do any of those things, do it. No one else is going to care about our health the way we care about our own health. And it's not just your health, it's your literal life. It's your life. So I digress. We are talking about muscle today. One thing I want to say, where I want to start with muscle, is for women, which I know that's who I'm talking to here. You're my audience. It's so greatly misunderstood. I think it's getting to be more and more comfortable. We're getting more and more familiar with muscle. But I know probably our age, in our 40s and 50s and beyond, muscle still really wasn't the thing that we did. or what we knew about. And so I want to just assure you that no amount of lifting weights or resistance training is going to make you look bulky. That's still a thing. People still think that you're going to get bulky if you lift weights. And no, I don't. I want to have long, lean muscles. I want to be toned. And yes, we can call it that because that's what it's going to do for you. It's going to make your skin look toned. Toned skin is muscle under it. So let's just forget about being afraid of muscle and the word muscle, because literally that's what's on top of our bones. Between our skin and our bones is muscle. And so if you want it to be nice and soft in a good way, not soft in a squishy way, we want muscle. So we won't get bulky. We want muscle. And what muscle really looks like is shape and shapely. It is what gives a woman the right kind of curves. And the great thing about it is you can build curves where you need it. And that helps to really balance you out to get you an X frame or an hourglass figure. You could do that. You can shape your body by putting on muscle strategically. And that's really gives you what I call a, flexy, sexy flex in muscle. I don't know, I made it up, but I like it. Get flexy. So on top of the aesthetics, because I can understand sometimes that's not enough. Some people get to a point where they're like, oh, I just don't care. My husband loves me anyways. That's great. And it's wonderful. And our husbands should love us anyways. But it's not just about the way we look. It's also about not losing muscle mass as we age. We lose 8% of our muscle mass every decade after the age of 30. With that loss of muscle mass comes an increase of fall, increase of breaking bones, increase of losing our balance, which then causes us to fall, which causes us to break our bones. So it's much more important than just lifting weights for looks, though it's nice to also interrupt age with the way we look. We want to keep our strength, not only keep it, but we can actually gain strength and get stronger as we age instead of losing strength. It helps to keep our bones strong because resistance training helps our bones to remodel and to grow stronger instead of weaker as we age. It lifts our mood. It puts us in a better mood, which makes us more pleasant to be around, especially if our hormones are going crazy. Lifting can help us to balance our mood. Also, we can just like the way that we look, and it keeps our confidence up. When our confidence is up, we treat others better, but we also expect to be treated better. And that's just better for us in general. I also want to remind you that you can find me. Maybe you're on YouTube right now, but you can find me there and also on Facebook at Age Interrupted, on IG, which is Instagram for those of us who aren't as hip as some others. Like I'm not. Anyways, I'm at age_interrupted. See, I didn't get there in time to get age interrupted. I'm age_interrupted on Instagram. If you're interested in working with me, I am a short email away, jillwhitecoaching@gmail.com. Also, if you like this podcast, I would be honored if you could leave it a 5-star rating, or if you are on YouTube, drop a comment below, a like, even share it. These little gestures do a lot to help get the word out to other women that might also need some encouraging words. And that is really what we are here, to build a community of strong women, physically and mentally, to support each other. So now that we know why we need muscle, let's talk about how do we get it? How do we put on muscle? And again, we're not talking about big, bulky muscle. We're just talking about skeletal muscle strength. And I will digress, or I will save nutrition for another time. That may or may not be, spoiler alert, the E in frame. So nutrition aside, because it is also very, very important to putting on muscle. We're not just going to go to the gym, lift weights, and magically put on muscle without having our nutrition in line too. So it's also important, but we have to lift weights. We have to have some sort of resistance training, whether it be with bands, whether it be your body weight. For beginners, body weight is a great beginning of resistance training and also weight training. And so we would progress over time from body weight to actual weight training with weights. Bands are good if you're traveling, if you need, there's actually some really good exercises we can do with bands, but in my opinion, bands don't replace weights completely. They're a good add-on, but still need to lift weights. Now I'm going to assume that a lot of people listening to this are beginners, and that's wonderful. That's actually one of my favorite groups of people to work with because I've mentioned it before. I'm a trainer and a teacher by nature. I love explaining things and I love helping people to understand things. And so working with beginners is probably my favorite, like the light bulb moment, the like, this is amazing. This is going to change my life. Like that's just, I love that. But so for beginners, just to get into some more specifics, what you might be wanting to do is start with a 3-day a week training program. That's really the easiest way for a beginner to get started. Maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, full body, meaning we're going to work all the large muscle groups of the body. It doesn't mean you have to do a single exercise for every muscle specifically, because a lot of movements will hit or target more than one muscle group at a time. So, for instance, if I have a dumbbell in my hand and my arm is raised, my elbow bent, and I lift into a shoulder press, I'm working my shoulders, I'm working my triceps, I'm actually working some other muscles underneath my arms in my chest area called our serratus anterior. I'm also working these muscles right here, which I have kind of big ones and I don't need to work very much, but called your upper trapezius, all from doing the one motion of raising your arms overhead with a dumbbell in them. So it doesn't take a lot of different exercises. It doesn't take a lot of it doesn't take a lot of time necessarily, 30, 40, 45 minutes. You can have a really great total body workout as a beginner. Do that 3 times a week just to get moving. But the important thing to note is that it has to be resistance or weights. We do not put on muscle by walking. We don't put on muscle by doing the stairs. We don't put on muscle by any other form of aerobic or cardiovascular work. That's good for our heart muscle, but that's not going to do all the things like improve our strength and strengthen our bones. And walking can, to a degree, help our bones. We have the impact of walking, but all in all, we need weights, unless you have on a weighted vest, and then you can walk and build your bones. But I digress. That's not what I'm talking about today. That's not really putting on muscle. That's just resistance, which is fine. But we want to put on muscle. We want to have strong. We want to be able to open that jar of pickles. If we want to open that jar of pickles, maybe no one else is around at the time. We want to be able to do it ourselves. So we're going to put on muscle. We're going to exercise. We're going to move our body. We will still get our heart rate up. It's good for our overall health. Like I said, it's good for our heart health. But done the right way, resistance and / weight training, I'll use those words interchangeably. I usually use weight training. Weight training done the right way will actually also get your heart rate up. You will sweat. You will be in a cardiovascular range if you do it a certain way. And so you kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So I hope that I have helped encourage you to explore weightlifting, weight training, putting on a little bit of muscle. Don't be afraid of it. I promise, you don't have the hormones necessary to put on muscle. Even men as they age struggle to put on muscle, much less women as we age. And it is even more important, believe it or not, mark this down. Think about this. It is more important for women to weight train than it is for men to weight train as we age. So I want to take a moment just to remind you that I'm very excited about episode 12 coming up in a couple of days. It will be our very first We Talk Wednesday, and I have a great guest lined up. I'm very excited about this series. Every Wednesday, I'm going to be talking to you, our community, or other experts for our group to learn from. So that'll be on Wednesdays. If you're interested in talking with me about challenges, health, fitness, anything, be part of the community. Email me at jillwhitecoaching@gmail.com, and I look forward to talking with you. As a reminder, if you want to learn more about working with me, go to bit.ly/JillWhiteCPT. I will leave that in the comments as well. Feel free to send me an email. I read them myself, jillwhitecoaching@gmail.com. And you can find me on Facebook and YouTube at Age Interrupted, on Instagram at age_interrupted. Please, please, not that I'm too proud to beg, like, subscribe, share, follow, all of those things. It's really helpful to get the word out. And until next time, remember to enjoy the process because it's a lifelong journey. Bye-bye.